Though it seemed as if the legacy of the Infinity Stones was largely over after the atomization in Avengers Endgame, the modern MCU has come to show us the legendary stones might not actually be completely behind us. Loki showed us how Infinity Stones could be pulled from different diverging timelines, and What If showed us that they do in fact have limited capabilities outside of their home universes, though to what degree we are still currently unsure. We saw that Infinity Ultron was allegedly able to power himself and manipulate his own body via the stones, and even if this is the extent of their capabilities in the multiverse, then it stands to reason that they would still be formidable artifacts for a wielder to utilize in combat, even across different universes. Even if the stones are only viable weapons when in their home universe, then we could see our heroes travel to a neighboring timeline where the stones are still at their strongest. Regardless of the official explanation, it seems likely that our time with the Infinity Stones is not quite over in the MCU. So is it possible that we will be able to see some powers not yet showcased by the stones at some point in the near future? And is there evidence to support the idea that some of the Infinity Stones might have certain capabilities that we have not yet seen? Well, stick with us, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, as we discuss just this. A while back, a deleted scene from the Battle on Titan was released, showcasing a new ability for the Power Stone specifically. And though the visual effects for this shot were never completed, there is enough content in place to deduce exactly what is going on with the Power Stone, and this brand new ability that we see the Infinity Stone is capable of. If you think about it, we really only barely scratched the surface of exactly what all of the stones are capable of and the powers they wield. We don't know the true extent of any of their abilities, especially stones like the Power Stone or the Soul Stone, as the Power Stone is only really shown being wielded as sort of a concussive blast, and based on this deleted scene, it's capable of far more. The Soul Stone, on the other hand, has only been used on a few different occasions, and never with the full extent that we know it's capable of in the comics. Other stones like the Mind Stone we've seen can unlock incredible abilities that are laying dormant within individuals. So is it possible that the extent of the true power of the Infinity Stones is never even tapped into fully by the beings like Infinity Ultron or Thanos, and that their true powers and capabilities are yet unknown? But back to this deleted scene with Thanos and the Power Stone. From our interpretation, it seems as if Thanos is not only able to use the Power Stone to channel powerful energy blasts of his own creation, but is also able to harness active energy that already exists in the surrounding environment. We know that the Infinity Stones work by tapping into the fundamental forces of reality and bending these aspects to the respective user's will, so it stands to reason that by this logic, the term power is one of these fundamental forces, though the definition is loose at best as of now. Therefore, existing power, whatever that may entail, could hypothetically be able to be channeled through the Power Stone and manipulated by it. By this definition, power could simply mean any present active energy that is being given off, though again, this definition is not set in stone. In this particular scene, it appears as if Thanos is actually absorbing one of Doctor Strange's attacks, using the stone in question to channel the power produced by Strange's offensive measures, and redirecting it in a manner of his choosing, which in this case seems to be in the form of a solid construct. If this deleted scene is still considered canon, then it seems to hint not only is the Power Stone able to channel incredibly powerful blasts of its own energy, but it may also be able to tap into the energy produced by other beings, which has wide-reaching ramifications that can be used to turn the tide of a fight. This could effectively nullify some of the strongest energy-based attacks from some of the most powerful heroes in the MCU, from Thor's lightning to Iron Man's repulsor technology to even Captain Marvel's photon blasts, depending on what the MCU categorizes as power. If a wise wielder of the Infinity Stones understood the true capabilities of the Power Stone and what could be done with it, then they could effectively render these incredibly powerful Avengers obsolete by stripping them of their most powerful assets and attacks. We also do not know what the extent of these solid constructs are capable of, and what can be created using the Power Stone. Though Thanos only uses it in this moment to create an image of a hand, if the Power Stone works on the principle of casting existing energy into solid power and solid constructs, then it may very well be utilized to the same effect as a Green Lantern ring, for example. Though we are crossing universes for this hypothetical, Green Lantern rings operate on the principle of creating solid-like constructs that the user can manipulate to their liking. And if the Power Stone operates on the same principle, then it's theoretically possible that that a wielder could use the stone to bend existing power in the atmosphere into whatever shapes or forms they chose. If the user is able to cast these images to their liking by using energy that already exists in the atmosphere, then the limits of these constructs may only be bound by the user's imagination. But again, take this all with a grain of salt, as we are unsure if this scene is still canon, and we likewise do not know if this power being utilized with the Power Stone will ever be recreated or revisited in the future of the MCU ever again. This also leaves us to wonder how the rest of the Infinity Stones might be exploited by beings who understand them on a fundamental level. Again, the Soul Stone in particular is perhaps the most elusive, as we are only introduced to it in Infinity War. We also do not see it being used individually. The closest we come to seeing is when Thanos uses the Soul Stone in tandem with the Power Stone to find the real Doctor Strange in a sea of holographic duplicates. What this deleted scene seems to prove, however, is that there is more to these stones than meets the eye, and even if this scene is no longer canon, there is a limitless well of creative potential that the writers and directors can pull from when it comes to giving the stones new powers and abilities in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Perhaps we see the powers of the stones on full display as our heroes cross into different universes. After all, there has been much debate as to how powerful the stones are outside of their home timelines, but when the stones are in their home reality, they are at the peak of their native potential, and bringing heroes into alternate universes where the stones are still at their strongest could be a fascinating way to showcase these new abilities. But anyway, my friends, what did you think of this deleted scene? And do you think it should have been left in the final cut of the movie? Or do you think it was better cut? And do you think that the Russos cut it for a very specific reason? What do you think of the full power of all of the Infinity Stones and the true capabilities of a stone such as the Power Stone? And does it have the same potential and capabilities of a Green Lantern ring? As always, my friends, we appreciate you guys watching the channel. Thank you again. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and I'll see you guys in the next video.